Folks, I'm over here across the road from an elementary school down in town. It's right in the middle of town actually, but it feels like it's in the country. And I love this place. I came here years ago to go walking with a friend from work, and I haven't been here in a while, but I always did love this place. Now, I know, folks, that I haven't been telling you the exact name of the places that I'm at. And the reason being is because for safety reasons. You know, I think it's safer not to tell my exact location. My hair is a mess. But I got up early this morning. I slept good till 6 o'clock a.m. and the building's alarm went off. So I jumped up, I got dressed, and by the time I was dressed, the alarm stopped, so everything was all right. And then it was a good thing because I was up, because my brother showed up real early because he had to drop a van over off at the garage to get it fixed. So I went with him and took him over there. But anyway, look at this place. Look at it. Now going down that hill there, it goes further into isolation. It's a great hike because there's a lot of climbing there, but I'm not ready for that. And also I don't want to go that deep into the woods right now, not up here near the city, because I actually feel safer. Now look at this little hill I'm supposed to climb coming up this way. But I actually feel safer up on the mountains with the bears sometimes than when you get closer to a city. But I haven't heard of anything going on. But you always got to be aware. I actually took a little drive around up here where I was going to be walking just to scope it out before I decided to do this walk. But boy, these hills, I'm feeling it. Whew. Holy moly. But this is good. This is, changing my walk a little bit. I gotta start, making it a little harder. But I'll have to go slow. Slower than what I always go. So, this nice park here with the gazebo, I don't know if you can see it. There's a gazebo. We'll pass it. I've seen people taking wedding pictures and everything over here. Back in the day, it was a well-known park for the area. They had this building here. It was a snack shop. And then over here, they had a memorial. If you could see it. And I don't want to tell you the name because then I tell you exactly where I am. And I trust all of you. But I don't know. They say to be smart about being on the web. So I try to be. Look at this jump off here. Look at this. Look at how far down that is. And that's the road, the other road I showed you. It's way down there. So this guy that I used to work with, he was in great shape. He lifted weights and everything. And it was during one of those times. I was younger, a lot younger. But I was doing pretty good at that particular time. And I came out here and we were jogging. And I did pretty good. I did pretty good. It was more of a run than I've been used to. But I did pretty good. I'd love to get back to those days, but I know with my age, that'll never happen. See, now there's a big cliff still way down on this side. Can you see it? It drops off way down there. I wouldn't want to come out here at night. So how's everybody doing? I hope you all doing good on your journey. I'm getting good comments. I've had a couple people say they're actually watching my videos while they're on their treadmill. It brought tears to my eyes. I can't even imagine that. I'm so new to this that I just thank you folks so much. I appreciate it so much, and it encourages me, and it makes me want to keep on going, because I feel that it's all of us that are together in this, and I don't want to let you guys down. Now, I'm getting off the trail for a minute, but I'm going to keep moving. I'm not going to stop. I wanted to show you the gazebo. I don't want to stop when I'm walking. You see it? Let me go around the side here. See, there's a nice big field here. They have picnics in the summer. Ugh, I gotta slow down. Climbing a mountain. It feels like it. But it's very nice up here. A little snack bar. And here's the gazebo. But, God, it's been years since I came up here. Oh, they fix it up so nice. Oh my goodness. Somebody had suggested that I put the camera on with the front view, and I want to do that. I want to be able to do that so you could see the whole view, but with this phone I can't switch it back and forth when I'm in a recording, and I can just leave it and not have my face in the videos and just start it with the front view. But I like to look at you guys. And I want you guys to see me huffing and puffing and struggling. But if most of you were to tell me you wanted that front view all the time and not my face, I would do it. I would do it. Whatever's going to help you guys too. You know, that's what this is all about. Not just me, but all of us. So, and I wanted to talk today about, you know, how, now I'm not really into the cusp of this, because, you know, I'm new to it too, but I've read that people, even, well, the same as alcoholics, drug addicts, food is the same way. The food addiction is just like that. Now, you know, if you were an alcoholic and you always hung around the same friends and you stopped drinking, those friends are not going to be too happy with you anymore. You know, they're not going to be as supportive as you would like them to be when you quit eating, when you lower your carbs, when you're not going out to restaurants, you know. And not to hold anything against them, you know, they're just feeling like, you know, they know it's making them see themselves when they see you doing better. And the guilt starts to hit them too. And hopefully, when they see you doing better, a lot of your friends will make the change and go along with you. But that's not always the case, folks. I hear stories and have read things about, people moving on because they can't be around that. The old saying, you hang out in a barber shop, you're going to get a haircut. If you're hanging out in restaurants all the time, you're going to be eating. And you're going to be telling your friends when they invite you out that no, you're not up to it right now. And then I said it before, after a while they're going to stop asking you. And that could put you in a, you might feel real bad about that because these were friends for a long time, or even family members. You're trying to do the right thing, and you get people that are not supporting you, or maybe somebody's making a sarcastic remark, or, that's tough. You're already going through all these emotional changes, and then you have something like that. But it makes you want to join them again. But you can't let that happen. You have to be on your own journey, and you have to do what's right for you. Because if you die, or you're in a hospital laid up, how many of those friends are going to come and take care of you and check on you every day? Really? I mean, they could be lifetime friends. And I don't hold it against them. I'm not condemning anybody. They might have families. Even loved ones. They got families and everything. So then you're going to have to rely a lot on the medical care. So it's the most important thing for yourself is to be healthy and be strong and not get into that position. And when you start feeling that you're isolated or lonely, stop looking at it like that. Suddenly you have all this space in your life, all this freedom, all this time to think about what you really want. And you got all the food noise out of your brain. You're not constantly thinking of food after you get into a good point, like ketosis or even low carb. And eventually you will know that what you were doing and the friends that you were hanging around with and always with will always be your friends. And you can wish them luck, but it's time for you to move on. It's time for you to start making new friends. Like I am right now, making friends with all of you. We're all friends now. But you'll start making new friends and having new interests. Your identity will not be struggling to get dressed in the afternoon because you're going out to meet a group of friends to pig out in a restaurant, and then you're going straight home and collapsing in that chair, and that's where you sit for the rest of the night. Suddenly that identity is not there anymore. It's happening to me already, that part. Just getting out doing these walks and starting to feel better. So you got to be aware that that's going to come. Maybe not all your friends, but that is going to come. It's going to happen. Be ready for it. And don't look at it as like it's a bad thing. Look at it like it's a good thing. Your identity is becoming what you always wanted it to be. Did you always envision yourself slim and trim and eating piles and piles of Chinese food from the restaurant? Of course not. That was never one of your dreams. Of course, we thought so at the time. But so I do think it's the same as any other addiction. You gotta start meeting people that are gonna be supportive of you and happy for you and are on the same journey, or even those that are way ahead of you. I mean, I get comments on here that from people that are 5-6 years into it, and they have so much knowledge that they could teach you. You know, we're just babies. We're just babies. We need these people to help us along the way. And you'll start to meet them. It might take time, you know, it all takes time. It's a slow, gradual process. But your life is going to be completely different when you get there. You know, I always look around too, because you got to make sure of your surroundings. You know, what a nice park this is. And you know what? When the friends start to weed out of your life, the ones that you just can't do the things anymore, and you got this quiet time at home to reflect about your life, that's the time that your brain is going to start having more clarity, and you're thinking better, and you're reflecting on everything, and you're able to. Because I don't know about you, but when all of my energy, when all of my body, I'm not good at technical words, or, you know, but when your cells and everything is going and working hard to digest all the carbs that you've been eating, your brain is not working properly. But when you're reducing those carbs, your brain is working better, and you have clarity, and you're able to think better. You know, you're that quiet time where when you're not out in that restaurant or sitting in front of your TV with loads of carbs, that time is going to be so valuable. It is to me right now, you know. I like my quiet time. You know, I think about a lot of things. I have time to spend with you guys. You know, I know. There's just something about it, because when I was eating a lot, you know, I don't even think I was in touch with my emotions that much. I knew I felt sick about it, everything I was doing. I had that emotion and all the negative thoughts, you know. But it kind of like, I think the food and the carbs and everything kind of numbs you. And that's why we end up accepting it for so long. Our brain isn't working to really know the impact that the food is doing to us. We're kind of numb. We're numb to it, and we just go, you know how you have a habit and you end up just doing it naturally without thinking about it? Well, that's what's happening, I think, with us when we're so full. We can't think. We can't think rationally, and we can't think with hopes in our heart. I've experienced that. I know that happens to me, folks. It has happened to me for years. You know, even when I said I didn't test my sugar last year, when I was knowing I was doing so bad, I just let it go. I knew I was doing bad. But I didn't want to know. I didn't want to know what those numbers were. Automatic pilot. Just put that on the back of my mind and just do what I want to do. And that doctor that I had that problem with on March 21st saved my life, one day at a time. I gotta look at the clock. I might be able to do like a half a time around. That'll put me at 25 minutes. And I just what she did by yelling at me, she gave me some kind of fierce independence that I was not gonna rely on these doctors. Or if I had to, I was gonna do everything in my power not to have to do as much as I can on my own. So that woman I'm feeling better today, and it's because that doctor yelled at me because she wanted me to take that medicine, that specific brand. I walked out. I told her in a nice way. I was respectful. But I looked at her just like this. I think you're the one that needs to take medicine. And then I said, you need to calm down. Then I walked out. And I'm glad I did that because I went there that day, resigned to take any medicine that she wanted to give me because I knew I had been bad. I knew my sugar went up. I was ready to do it. I didn't want that specific brand of lisinopril. That's the only request I was making. And she started yelling at me, telling me that they're all the same. She saved my life that day. That's how I want to look at this, because the fierceness that I feel of knowing that I have to do this myself. Nobody's going to do it for us. They might save our lives and help us when we can't. We need them. That's the tough. Let me go over here to school. That's the tough position that we're in, folks. As much as we dislike doctors sometimes, we need them. We're gonna come a time we need them. We just do. I'm not ever gonna swear off, and some of them are wonderful. I know when my mother was sick with cancer, dying in the hospital, I just loved them, the way they were taking care of her. They were so compassionate. Those are the kinds of doctors and nurses and people that should be out there, but sometimes that's not what we get. And even if they are the most wonderful doctor, they're not going to be able to do miracles. Even if you had the gastric bypass, yeah, that is saving lives. And I actually believe in that for those that are on the cusp of death. If that's going to save their life, there is a purpose sometimes for that. But I think that the people that can do it on their own are going to be so much better off. Because once you cut into your stomach and start making changes, that's serious business right there. And they want you to lose 20 pounds anyway before they even do the surgery. So if you could lose the 20 pounds, my goodness, you can keep on going. Now, I had a cousin that had that done. She was very heavy. She lived in Florida. And she had that done. And 10 years later, she died because they used the wrong staples. on her when they closed her up. And I don't know if she was allergic to it or what it was, but she died. She died at 62 years old. You know, and even when I went down and I would see her, you know, yeah, she lost a lot of weight and she looked better than being heavy, of course. But I can remember sitting out, going to have something to eat, and I don't know how many times we went out, and she'd have to get up and run to the bathroom and vomit. You know, we stopped going out after that. She just, you know, and I understood. For goodness sakes, I understood. But I'm gonna start walking back towards my car, folks. But I believe in it. If you are at that point that if you don't do it, you're gonna die. Yeah, you want to do everything you can to save your life. No, but the one thing that I could see that's happening to me is that I'm starting to get a little bit of self-respect, you know, because I know I'm doing the right thing. And you guys will too. And you guys that are there, I know you know what I'm talking about. You do, you become such a different person. And you know, you all know March 22nd was my anniversary, my starting date. It hasn't been a long time, and I could almost say it's like night and day, and I'm not even close to being where I'm gonna be. You guys can do it too. The majority of you can, because I never thought I could. You know I did. I lost weight. I did good at times. But the trick is to keep doing it. And the way that I feel right now with this being on the ketosis, I just feel so positive that I could do it because I don't feel like I'm suffering. Folks, my hair is a mess. But so I want to thank you all again for your wonderful comments and your subscriptions and your likes. Oh, there's a car. And I appreciate it so much. Now, I don't know how many times tears comes to my eyes when I read some of those comments. But we're all in this together. And we could do it. We could do it. We got to remember one day at a time. You know, that's how the alcoholics get off of their drinking. You know, they don't think, oh my God, I can never have a drink for the rest of my life. They don't think like that. You know, once they get going on it, they realize that. I think that's part of the AA motto is one day at a time. And of course, we all know that lovely one day at a time, sweet Jesus song. That's the way to go, folks. I believe it so much. And I hope you guys will get on it or stay on it, wherever you might be. And we're all going to be so much better off. Thank you for watching, folks. Have a good day. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.